Hello, hello, hello. Oh, go on, Shasha.
Yeah, right, Miss T.
Yeah, man. Hang on. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, been busy getting my creative juices back.
Listen, I'm like,
Yeah, man. May I get back in on my stride. But then I remembered a customer said to me, "How long does it take you to make that?" You was with me, and you was with me, and
yeah,
I was like, boy, it depends because it really does depend on my mood. But it
yeah.
also, if I stop dancing in between, I think I'll get things done a lot faster.
I was busting again. I'm like, just do your. You're giving me a joke.
Hey, Jax H. Ah, you really got to join our Facebook community. This person pops up every time we do a YouTube live, and I want to know who it is. But it's so nice to see you. Good evening to you. So I want to talk to you more in our Facebook group. I'm going to send you some links. I'll put some links here so that you can join our Facebook group and weigh in on the conversations. Hang on. Gary says he'll be on a bit later. So yes. So yeah, I've been dancing up, and I was like, this is why sometimes it takes you long because you're always dancing. But at least the stuff's made with good vibes and love, anyway.
Right, but you look so much in your happy place. Like you
Yeah,
can just
I
see
do love
in
to.
your face, in your body. You could just your whole aroma is just body language is just different. You could tell you in your happy place, and you're just like, yeah.
But enjoy myself, and then when it comes out nice and you put it on, you're like, yes, yes. Joyce, evening, Joycelyn Brown. Thank you, lovely, much appreciated. Bless you. I love that. It warms my heart every time I see you pop up on the screen, Jax. Because a lot of our activity is on Facebook. So we have a Facebook group. We post topics in there daily, and that's pretty much what the show is made up of. Our members of the group, they give us feedback, and then we break down the topics and we break down the comments from our audience. Our YouTube channel, we've got work to do, so it's always nice when I see YouTube people pop up. I love that.
Okay.
So thanks for joining us once again. Anyway, Gary said he's going to come on a little bit later. Natalie said that she's had some stuff with work, had to finish late, so may or may not pop on. But we do have a very special guest. Now, her mum's very active in our group. Davina, she has definitely brought some heat to the group, boy, and some interesting topics. And she's definitely been an amazing, Facebook valuable star contributor, my dear. So, and she's one of the people that I haven't met because we have had a couple of No Bravado meetups, and people come and we get to meet them in the flesh when they come. But for whatever reason, I've not been able to meet Davina in person as yet. But I feel like I know her. Here she is. She pops up. Good evening, ladies. Good evening, Davina. But I'm just talking about you, and then you just popped up. So yeah, so I feel like I've known Davina for years, but we've never met. So out of the blue, she messaged me and was like, look, my daughter, I want you to put my daughter on No Bravado because she does very important work that we need to discuss in our community, and we absolutely do. So without further ado, let's just bring Sabina on and have a chat because, as you know, we're going to be talking about financial well-being, and I think as a community, it's a very, very important topic. So Charlene might walk off the stage at this moment.
Sorry.
Understand? But I can't say nothing after I made you talk to yourself last week. So, for a whole 3 minutes. So, but yeah, financial well-being is definitely something. Yeah, we crack jokes on this platform all day long, but we also run something called Black Excellence, where we look at Black economics very seriously, and I think this is a huge part of that. So without further ado, let's welcome the beautiful Sabina Khoorban. Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, how you doing? Good evening. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. Just a bit tired from the kids, but how are you guys?
Oh,
Good.
Mum said the live is not showing on Facebook. Oh. Where is it? I'll have a look in a minute. Davina, thanks for pointing that out because it needs to show on Facebook. Why would it not show on Facebook? That's thrown me. So sorry, Davina. We've sorry, I'm calling you Davina. Sorry, Sabina.
Everyone does.
Really? Are you your mom's first kid?
I am. I'm the oldest.
Right. So everyone, just gets lazy and calls you your mum.
Exactly.
Oh dear. Hang on. Pages. No Bravado. Where is No Bravado? There. Yeah, we're live there. We haven't shared it into the group as yet. Go onto the page, Davina. It's live. It is live. Frightened me for a minute. I was like, what happened? And I can't exactly stop the live to, you know what I mean? What you gonna do? Yeah. No, it's there. It's there, Davina. I'm going to share it to the group now. Live now. Everyone share. And then Charlene, give me an everyone comment under that, please. Yes, my darling. So it's been a while. Been trying to get you here for a little while. Mm-hmm. And like I said, your mum, I feel like I've never met your mum, you know. She's a member of our group, and she's an amazing human being. She does give us some real hard-hitting topics. Sometimes she gives us a warm time about how we post, and she'll give us a warm time. But for the most part, she's a brilliant contributor, and I feel we've never met, but I feel like I know her. It's really weird.
She has that effect on people.
Yeah. I'm trying these headphones, but they're not working with my glasses because the audio on this computer is terrible. But so I'm gonna have to fight with my glasses and the headphones during this time. But yeah, so she texted me out of the blue and said that it would be good for us to have a conversation. So I'll give you a little bit of background about us. I've got a small hang on, did I? Okay, let's do that. So mum saying, hey baby.
I don't even know how to use this platform. So hey mum, I can't reply to you, but hi.
What you can do is what I'll do is I'll send you the link in a minute, and you can share that link to your platforms, because we don't get the Facebook link until we go live. So you can share, and from there you should be able to reply. So I'll send it to you in a minute. But so what we do is I've got a company called Diva Choice. I sell African inspired handmade jewelry that's handmade and designed by myself, and Miss Shasha gets involved now as well. She's been doing a lot of little bits and pieces with me, but yeah, I that's what I do. So as part of that, I've also got another company where we're all directors on, called Black Excellence, and we put on events for Black owned businesses, and we look at Black economics, where we are in the structure of economics, the spending power we have, but where we are in terms of property and just basically generational wealth. Yeah. So I think, yes, commerce is a huge part of our economics, but education is as well. So this is why I definitely wanted to have this conversation. I had 3 older brothers, they all passed away, no wills in place, no life insurances, 10 kids between them, and really much you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just due to lack of education, I believe. So I think in order for us to improve with our economics, we have to understand it on a whole, and that's property and keeping it in the family, and that is by understanding what you can and cannot do in this structure and this system that is, let's be frank, is kind of set up for us not to win. So basic things like you inherit a house from your parents that work through Windrush or whatever to get there, because a lot of our Windrush generation had them big houses with the attics and the basements, which have all been sold due to inheritance tax, not understanding certain things, and we're still in that predicament. We're still in that sort of cycle. But I do think more and more conversations are being had, and more conversations need to continue to be had. So we're excited to have you here, and we would like to, you know, if we don't scare you with our potty mouth and our crude topics, we'd like to make it where you like there's a part 1 or a part 2, and you know, when we continue to have this conversation so that people can become educated and start to protect their assets and understand what is what. So
thank you for having me on. I have to thank Mum first of all for kind of making the connection between us, because I've been looking for a platform within the Black community to talk about this. Obviously, going through my clients, going through appointments, and I've noticed that there's a real gap between the Black British community and the non-Black British community. And I think we are like, I would say we're years behind. I think we came late to the game. And so you're right when you said about kind of like lack of education in the area amongst our community, and it's trying to find avenues to kind of get that education out there. So this is really, really, really helpful.
Yeah. So who's this? Is this Gary? Oh, it's Nat.
Hi.
Hello. Didn't expect to see you today.
You know what? I haven't even finished, but I thought I just didn't want to miss it completely. So I'm like, let me jump on for a while, come and say hello, and come on.
Oh my
God.
Let me grab my tea quickly.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I'm just sitting there watching my tea, and I'm like, nah, don't get cold again. Yeah. So Natalie and I started No Bravado a few years ago. This is Davina's daughter. Did I tell you? Did you get to catch up on all of the things that we were saying?
No.
So this is Davina. Davina's daughter. She's going to get used to me calling her Davina. This is Sabina, and she says Davina's daughter, and she's here to talk to us today about financial well-being. So I was explaining a little bit about what it is that we do in terms of I'm a small trader and looking at like how am I gonna I've lost my 3 brothers, I've got 10 nieces and nephews, not necessarily my responsibility, but I would love to leave some sort of a legacy for them.
Absolutely.
So how do I navigate through that as a businesswoman with the understanding? We've also got Black Excellence. Black Excellence looks at economics and us championing our economics and circulating our Black pound. But a huge part of economics is also understanding the system in which we are in. So inheritance tax, wills, trusts, and all of the rest of it. So we was just like, that was literally what we was explaining. And then we were about to go into some of the questions. I was going to text you and say, if you're off, can you share it for me whilst I do this? I was just about to text you to do that. But yes, so excited to have the conversation because I think it's important and it's definitely a huge part of economic growth in our community and retaining what our parents and our grandparents worked so hard to get, and then as soon as they die, then it just goes, you've got certain communities just at your door asking you, do you want to sell your yard? Do you know what I mean? So because they know, as soon as a Black elder dies, we're going to be forced to sell.
Yeah, we've experienced that as well within like our family, my other half's family. You're right, they passed away, we inherit the house, we sell it, rather than being able to keep it in our family generations and generations. And there is a thing as well, kind of, I don't know about you guys, but the older Caribbean generation, so like the and stuff, a lot of them never even wrote wills. It kind of goes on the culture of, oh, when I die, it will go to the kids. And then it's left to kind of work itself out. But I'm sure you guys have all experienced the thing when someone dies and then it's the whole fight for land, fight for this, fight for that. And it's kind of ensuring whilst you're alive that we're not leaving a mess, because we're going to be dead and gone, but they're going to be having to work things out. And there's so many cases where the person's wishes didn't get carried out, all because they didn't write it down.
We got something similar happening right now. It was written down, but it wasn't obeyed. It wasn't abided by, if that makes sense. So there's
because people find wills, and that's another thing that I didn't put on the question list. But where do you suggest people store their wills? Because people find wills, and if they don't like what they read, suddenly that will just disappears, and then there's no proof. Do you know what I mean? So
I'm going to talk about that later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
That's going to be what kind of like my case study when we get onto that later. That actually happened to my friend within 2 years, not even a whole 2 years ago. And it's something that's current. It's not kind of, oh, it's far removed. And I will explain what happened. And then I will talk about storage options, 100%.
All right, cool. So let's get into the questions then. So, slides, please. Oh, what's it doing? This wants to always act up. Natalie, it didn't have you to pick on last week. Don't think that the thing didn't kick me out of my own because it didn't have you to pick on last week.
It didn't have me.
So it decided it was gonna just Okay, so see, we have a little picture. We're doing a little slide presentation for you, baby. All right. So, okay, first question. Financial Wellbeing with Sabina Khoorban. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us. I can't see who's watching at the moment due to the platform that I'm on, but thank you for being here. It's an important conversation. First question. Let's take turns asking the questions, you transitioned from treating cancer patients to treating financial uncertainty. What inspired the leap from radiotherapy to financial therapy? It's two different careers altogether, but I guess they're different.
I don't find it that different because, so for me, I've always had a route in kind of service. And that's kind of like my vocation. Everyone's got their niche. Mine is helping others, serving others. When I was younger, teenager, whatever, what have you, I was in retail. Then I got my degree and I've gone into caring for patients. And I find that now transitioning into this, I'm still helping people and I'm caring about them. So I just feel like it's the same concept, but just applied in a different way, which is less taxing physically on me. So the reason I transitioned, I haven't fully transitioned. I am actually still a radiographer. I am still employed with the NHS. So I took a bit of a break and I'm kind of seeing how my personal circumstances are going to feel, in a while, whether I kind of trying to do both or pick one or the other. But the main reason, honestly, was work-life balance. I've got 3 small children. 7, 5, and nearly 2.
Wow.
And and
I know
I'm nervous for you. Go.
4 boys. And it's like having 10 tornadoes in the house. Honestly, it's just crazy. And I'm from a family of girls, so it's unprecedented waters. I don't, it's not for the weak. So then balancing, juggling them and work. I started really early at the hospital, like 7:30 in the morning. So I'd be up at 4:30 in the morning to get ready, do the drop-offs to childminders, to nurseries before I even got to work. And I feel like, and then obviously the NHS, we know how it is. difficult, taxing, like you're on your feet pretty much all day. I got a half an hour break. And then as soon as I'm finished, I'm running to the nursery to get one, running to the childminders to get the other, back, cook, clean. Doing that day in and day out, it was just burnout for me. So with my young family, I knew that I needed to source other options. So I did some training when I was on maternity leave, and I kind of fell into this, and I found a real passion for it. I felt like it came quite easily to me. And yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really feel like I'm working when I do it. So I feel like that's a good sign that you're doing the right things.
Well, you said you're going to do it both or pick one over the other. Pick the one that feels...
I know.
Obviously, you need money, but yeah, the money will come once you pick what you love.
Yeah, and I'm trying to prioritize my family and myself first. I did a lot of kind of trying to please everyone. And I feel like going this route, I am helping other people still, because one of my big things was if I left the hospital, my patients. We've all been to hospitals and had treatment that they didn't like, whereas I know if I'm there, I can control my service. I'm giving great service every time I see a patient. And I was a breast cancer specialist, so I am. So I would do like weekly breast cancer reviews with my patients, and I kind of just felt like I would abandon them. But it gets to a point where you kind of got to prioritize yourself and your family, and here we are.
Yeah, good for you.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, hello, Jigs. This is another part of another member of Bravado.
Hi.
Part of a regular panel. This is Sabina. She's talking to us about financial well-being. If you didn't read the thing either, I think I just write this to myself because nobody didn't read the brief.
I did.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Charlene. Financial well-being with Sabina Khoorban. Question 2. If financial advice were a medical prescription, what's the one thing you would write on everyone's life script?
I think it would be something along the lines of understand your situation daily, review annually, and share with loved ones as needed. Because you need to kind of, it's all well and good kind of setting something up for your situation now, but in 20 years' time, your circumstances would have changed. You need to be reviewing it on a regular basis, making sure you've got everything that you need for that particular time. Because, I mean, I've spoken to people where they set up a life insurance when they were 23 because it came with their job and it covered maybe 20 grand. But they're now 40. They've got 3 kids and a mortgage and a wife. What's 20 grand going to do? That's not even a year's salary. So it's always, I would say, review daily, review annually, and then also share with loved ones, because you need to make sure everyone else in your circle is also safe.
Right.
Okay. Next question. Income protection, critical illness, family cover. People often avoid thinking about these until it's too late. How do you help clients get comfortable with having these conversations? Because even if I'm honest with you, even like when we post in the group, we post serious topics in the group and they get dust. But if we post stupidness wide, you know. I'm trying to think of something that's not so crude, but yeah. Do you know what I mean? A crude pick or foolishness. Yes, man, everybody steps out for the comments on these type of things. But when I spoke to someone about it, they were saying that they go to podcasts and stuff for jokes and for escapism. So maybe they don't necessarily want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it. I would love to have you back. So yeah, that's a long-winded way of me even forget the question. But yeah, how do you have these conversations about critical illness and stuff like that?
I think it's just me. I'm a blunt person. I'm very blunt. I always start off my appointments by telling them I'm going to be straightforward. You may be uncomfortable, but that's just how it is. And I feel dancing around the topic is where you can lose people. I think the way I get them to talk about it is being very honest and real. When I get people saying to me, oh, I don't need that, I'm still young. And I'm like, okay, you're young, but what if you get hit by a bus tomorrow? There's no age on that. Like I'm always very direct, and I always like to kind of present scenarios. I think there's a lot of healthy bias and age bias where you think I've always been healthy, I'm young, I don't need to do this now, I can do it later. And you've got to kind of just bring them back to reality and say, well, listen, later isn't promised. And I will use my own personal experiences. I will use my experiences from the hospital. I've treated patients who are terminal and they're 30. So, you know, and it's uncomfortable. And I think anyone who's listening, who's part of the NHS as well, we kind of have that kind of immune thing where we can talk about these things quite frankly, and it doesn't really affect us, where the rest of the population, it's not that way. But I think it's a good quality because we can keep speaking about it. We can keep driving it home. So I actually have no issue with kind of presenting someone with a bad scenario and explaining, listen, if you don't do this, your wife and kids are going to be out in the street when you die. Because it's necessary. I don't have time for beating around the bush and fluffing around. That's just not me. And I just kind of, my true authentic self, I just bring it everywhere I am, including work.
Okay, I get it. Jigga, you're in NHS. Do you resonate with some of what Sabina's saying in terms of becoming immune to daunting conversations?
I think I always said this for people already. I don't know if you know school PRUs.
The cruise.
Yeah. So I always say to people, you shouldn't work in a PRU for more than 2 years, because after 2 years, you begin to think that what the children do is normal. Oh, he's had a really good day today. He's only smashed one window. Like, it's not. So I think it's a bit like I said at work, when people are talking about sex things or about having 80 partners and da-da-da. I'm like, okay, like it's a regular team, but because you've been working it so long, nothing kind of
it's not regular.
Same thing in I think it doesn't have to be just health. I think it's any role. When you work in finance, when people tell me, oh, they got a loan from some company and the interest rate is 380 something percent APR, and I'm like, what, are you mad? But then you probably think, okay, people get themselves in a situation they're quite calm about it. But me, I'm like, really? You couldn't like, you can't get 6% somewhere. So that type of thing. So it's the same thing. I think any job you do, as long as if you do it for a long time, you kind of get immune to all the things that go on.
All of the the immunity helps.
Yeah, and like if I know people work in housing and go to people's houses and see bare mold and think, oh yeah, enough council houses are like that. I'm like, right, how you live like that?
Yeah, it's not normal. It's not normal. Who here on the screen's got a will? Yo,
I should say no, because I'm sure a young lady would say I haven't updated it.
Outdated.
Right. It's like, you know what I mean, I don't think if you've got my youngest child on it, it's so really
so you need to Sabina does free wills for people who work in the NHS, so you lot should talk.
I just update it.
I expect to have a message in my inbox after this, Jigga, so I can put you up to date, because your youngest is not gonna be happy when the other ones get the
Could you imagine?
You know what?
Like what?
Wow. The older one would be like, nah, she wouldn't do that. As you know.
Yeah.
Because there's such a big age difference. You know that. You know when you're kind of a similar age,
but still,
people are arguing over tea. When there's like one's in their 20s and one's in, they're not getting sex.
No, still, man. Sad to tote. Sabina, out of your clients in terms of percentage, how many of them are black?
Can I include people that I know, like friends and family? Okay.
Yeah.
2 to 3%.
Out of 100.
Yep.
That's wow.
I know.
What's the main demographic, would you say?
The main demographic I would say it's probably evenly split between younger couples who have kind of just bought a house together or just got married, usually white British.
Yeah.
And then you've got kind of the more middle-aged white women. A lot of them have been going through divorce, that I've noticed, and they're all kind of coming to get their divorce because they're going through divorce and they don't want their soon-to-be ex-husband to inherit, or they've just got divorced and they need to change everything because it was originally going to that spouse, but now they need to rejig things.
Rejig that.
No, you're not getting nothing.
Yeah.
Good evening, DJ Emirates. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. Okay, next question. What's a myth about financial protection that you'd love to bust once and for all?
That it doesn't pay out. I've heard this so many times and it's just not true. So people think, oh, I'm not going to, there's no point me paying for life insurance. I'm not going to get this insurance. They're never going to pay it out anyway. Now, I don't know what kind of bootleg uncle that they've got their insurance from, what kind of insurance providers they're using. If you go to an advisor who is reputable, who is covered by the FCA, covered by the FCFS, who's using providers like the big ones that we all know, we've got Zurich, Aviva, L&G, Vitality, Royal London, all the really good ones, they're paying out. Their payout rates are astronomical. One of them, I can't remember which one it was. I want to say it might be Royal London that paid out 97% of all claims last year. The rest, there's no one below 92%. Out of all the ones that I deal with, none of them have paid out less than 92% out of claims.
Do you know what I would say? I don't know about that. I'll agree with that. People all pay out. I think what people do is they're not honest on some of their forms they're ticking, and that's what
the problem.
When they ask you, have you been to your doctor in the last year, and you say no, and then they go back in because you went doctor last week, they're going to be an issue.
Exactly. But also, touching on that, a lot of people will go to like comparison websites and then take out a policy that way. And they don't actually know what they're taking out.
The underwriting,
Exactly. You don't know the conditions. And I will say this is one area where you need to go to an advisor. Obviously, there's some areas in life where they'll say, speak to a professional, speak to a provider or an advisor, and you don't really need to. They're just trying to get a commission or whatever it is. But with protection, definitely go to an advisor who knows what they're doing, who is FCA, FCFS approved and recognized, because they're going to explain everything to you. I have 3 appointments when I talk to my financial clients. I'll have one to get all the particulars. It's an hour-long appointment, and I'm finding out every single thing. There's like a long form. I'm asking you about, in the last 5 years, have you done this? Have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? Because they're all going to want to know. And there's no point kind of telling you I can provide you with something. I go and apply for it and you get rejected because I know that it's not going to be covered. If you go to a comparison site, you don't know what they're going to include. You're not going to think that your smear test that came back inconclusive 10 years ago is going to be a problem. So that's where people are also failing. They're going through comparison websites or kind of just getting what they think they need rather than getting solid professional advice for their circumstances.
Right. Well, I got mine with Aviva, but I was just trying to think, how many times have I gone to a comparison site to buy insurance and not really understood? Yeah, okay.
Your bank
something like that.
Your bank's always trying to set you up as well.
Because they get a commission, and they get they've got like an introducer thing. So when you take a policy out with a certain provider that's linked to, let's say, the bank, they will get a cut because it's an introducer fee. What was I gonna say? You said something, Trisha, and I forgot what you said. Oh, don't worry, it'll come back to me later.
It'll come back.
Yeah,
it'll come back. It's interesting. What's one real life story, anonymized of course, that made you think, this is why I love what I do, or this is why I do what I do?
This would be one of my good friends that I mentioned earlier on. So I'm just going to say D, because I don't want to say his name. I spoke to him. He said it's fine to share the story, just not with his name. So we've got my friend D, my good friend D. Now, D is Nigerian, Yoruba.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys know, but in their culture, men can have multiple wives. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
So his two brothers and his mom, so one of the wives, lived in Nigeria for a while. His dad moved to England with one of the other wives. So in England, they're married, right? When they were in like secondary school, D and his two brothers moved across to live with the dad and the stepmom. Okay. Now his dad owned their home in South London. And obviously was married. They didn't have any more kids. So D and his brothers were the only children for the father from his mum back in Nigeria. The stepmom had no children, but they lived as a family. She looked after them because obviously they're her husband's children, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of years ago, Dee's dad suddenly, unexplicably, falls down dead. And I mean, like, they were on the phone half an hour beforehand, then he gets a call saying, your dad's dead. And he's like, I just spoke to him. Like, it was just insane.
Yeah.
Now, they know that there was a will. They don't know where the will is. And the stepmother, the wife, conveniently doesn't know where the will is either.
Of course, right.
Okay. Long story short, after a lot of battling, probably a year or so of battling financially as well, so paying for solicitors, courts and everything, the stepmom got everything, and D and his brothers got one ladder to share between the three of them, which I think is even more. Yeah. One ladder to share between the three of them.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, D and his brothers were contributing financially to the house when they stayed there. Even when they moved out, if the dad needed help, they would help. And their dad, obviously, it's shock and it's grief, because I think when you know something's coming, it's still hard, but you can prepare for it. But you've got shock, you've got grief, and now finances. And bear in mind, between the period of probate, D is paying the mortgage.
And he's still got nothing. He was able to prove that, and he's still got nothing.
Nothing. Because it doesn't matter what you pay, who's on the title deed.
Yeah, the title.
And then who's going to inherit without a will? If you die in intestate, they look for a spouse.
Okay. But okay. I hate justice. That's just spun my head. Yeah. So it depends on who's on the title deed. So the dad's going to put his wife on the title deed, or is it because she's his spouse?
It's just because she's his spouse. Automatically.
There's nothing called intestacy laws in the UK, obviously elsewhere, but I know the UK ones. This is what I do. And there's kind of like a flow chart or hierarchy. And if you die without a will, so intestate, there's an order. The first is your spouse, then it's children, then it's parents, then it's grandchildren, then it's siblings, full-blooded, then it's half-blooded siblings, nieces and nephews, aunts and uncles. So obviously there was a spouse, he didn't have a will, but under the intestacy laws, she's the one who inherits.
Yeah.
And you're thinking that she's a decent person. Sorry, say that. Yeah. Sorry, you're thinking she's going to be a decent person, so there's not going to be that. But sorry to have cut you. That's terrible.
It's terrible. He was my first client ever, because after what happened to him, he was like, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen ever to my children. And yeah, he was my first ever client. And it's sad that it took such a horrible situation to kind of drum it home to certain people that it's important to do. But it's definitely a lesson to learn from. But yeah, horrible. And especially someone who's so close to me. I talk to him every day. I spoke to him today. And yeah, it was mad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to my granddad.
Really?
What happened?
So my granddad was obviously old, and he met, as my mum would say, young girl. So they were together and they got married. So at the time they had the will. So basically insurance. When you insured the house, so whoever insured the house, whoever died first, the house went to the other person. So I remember saying to him, granddad, like, no disrespect. Obviously, you're going to die first. This woman's like 30 years younger than you.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened, though, I guess.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want you to die, but that don't make no sense. Really, come on. And her children, I had to call up with her children. One of her children pulled a knife on him one day. I was vexed. Had to go around there and grab a bite of his neck. Had to get the way proper drugs, but it went through. And so then he had to change the will, so it was like, it's not in common. It's something else. There's two ways you can do it. So there's one where when you die, the house goes to the other person, and the other one, it's like it splits, like it's 50-50.
Tenants in common.
Common, yeah. Tenants in common, yeah. So I said, but then the wife didn't want that to happen. Then stop paying mortgage, a whole bunch of different stuff. But yeah, same thing was going on. They were going trying, like, basically, like, don't be silly, man. You mean you can't do that? At no stage can you do that. But yeah, so you got to be careful. We've got to be careful with that. Really.
Yeah, and especially like if you accumulate things, because there's so much questions. This is why we're going to have to do it in different parts. But like, I'm one of those people that want to believe in love. So it's like, what do you do if you meet someone? Like, you got your business, you've got your assets before meeting someone. How do you protect that? Because you don't want to, because UK laws are completely different from US. So you can do prenups, you can do wills, you can do all of that kind of stuff. But it's just like, how do you protect yourself? Will a will protect you? No, it would be a trust, wouldn't it? So a trust would protect. It would be a trust.
Your assets. There's also other kind of legal documents you can get, which would usually be via solicitor, but you would get things like declaration of trust, which would say kind of what vested interest you each have. So if it was something that you had, like, say it was a house and it was yours, but then your partner moved in, you would have a declaration of trust that says he has no input, he's invested no financial gain in the house, and it belongs to you 100%. So,
but doesn't that change? But doesn't that change if, like, when you first move in, you can do that? But if I've been living there like for 10 years with you, and then I showed that I've been paying, doesn't that change then?
You can contest.
Yeah,
can contest, but it has to obviously go either to mediation or to court.
Yeah.
But usually what couples do in that situation, if you are financially contributing, so you're not just kind of living there rent free and stuff, is they will review the declaration of trust and update it to maybe reflect a 90-10% or 85-15%.
I'd rather live for free.
Exactly. I mean, I would.
Keep my money in my pocket.
Yeah. But then the only other way would be in death would be will with a trust. I do a lot of them. I did one today, yesterday, and that's where you're securing that asset so that it can't be taken by someone else. It's going to go to your beneficiary. You can put clauses and things in there. For example, again, I'm going to use property. Say it's your house. You can put a clause to say that they have a right to occupy, so your family can't kick him out. Because that's still the person that you love, but ultimately he doesn't own the asset. So once he's passed away, or if you've put a specific time period, once he's gone, that asset can still be inherited by the ones you've ordained.
Okay. You're getting this no bravado massive. Good evening, Dion. How you doing, sugar? We drew a cocktail of some sort. Wills and trusts. Someone else asked the question. Can you not see this?
Yeah, wills and trusts can sound like something only for the rich. How do you make them relevant for everybody, for everyday NHS workers or young families?
It is a common thing. People say, "Oh, I've got nothing to leave," or I'm not wealthy. And again, similar to one of my previous answers, I'm just me. I'm blunt. You may not have much to leave, but what you do have, where's it gonna go?
Yeah,
right.
Also, a big part of a will, and I do a lot of kind of young families, so people that have children like me, young children like me. A big part of your will is appointing guardians. You don't have to have a penny, but do you want the state to decide where your children are going to go if you die before they've reached age? Or do you want to have that written down, secure, legally kind of set out and instructable? And that's kind of the main thing that I drive home, especially when they've got kids. You don't need to have much money. You can have £10 in your account, but your children are priceless. And they're going to look to house your children if you passed away with close family. But who's to say that you and that family get on? Who's to say that person's the right influence, the right people for your children to grow around? And that's always the kind of basic thing. If you don't have any money, you still need to name guardians.
So so with that, for instance, so say I have a will, I've got 3 kids as well. Well, 1 adult, 2 kids. If I would say I want them to go to my mum, but their dad wanted them, would my will supersede his right as a father?
So it depends on if his name's on the birth certificate. If it is, then he has parental rights, in which case, no, it wouldn't supersede. Okay. You can always put your intentions down and have a discussion, because sometimes it's amicable, and also it depends on the age of the child. So say your child's like 13, they're still underage, but they're of sound mind and they've kind of got their own opinions. You could go to mediation or court, and let's say his father lives the other end of the country, which means he'd be uprooted and have to move schools and everything, which would be detrimental to his education, to his social life. Then a judge would usually rule in the favor of what the child wants. Obviously, if the child is like 2, it's a bit more difficult. But again, say your mum lives next door, but the child's father lives in a different country. Again, it could be taken to court. She can contest in court and say, well, listen, he may have parental rights, but it's not in the best interest of the child. And then the judge will again usually rule in favor for the best interest of the child, which would usually be.
Okay. I always wondered about that. That's why I always thought, I wonder.
But if they're not on the birth certificate, then they have no parental rights. So will override.
That's only. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Somebody.
What would you say to someone who says, I'm too young for a will, or you just answered that?
You just answered that, yeah.
Yeah, you just answered that.
Next one.
I think there's always a little bit of a difference as well, because sometimes you've not got kids, you are just young. Like my sister, she's 20. Oh God, hope she's not watching. Mom, don't tell her. What year is it? She's only 23, and obviously people that she's single, she's young, she's free, and she's not got a house, she's not got loads of savings or anything. So she would be like, well, why do I need to write a will? It's not always about the actual finances, and it's more about having control over who will deal with what with your legacy when you've passed, whether it be £10 in the account or not. Do you want some rando doing it, or do you want someone that you trust to act in your best interest no matter what it is? Yeah, it's more about having control over what happens after you die, rather than it being a cash value.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. Next question.
What's the financial equivalent of drink more water? Something basic but life-changing.
So it would definitely be put the basics in place. It's literally at least a basic will and at least life insurance. It doesn't cost much. It doesn't take much. And these are kind of like the bread and butter. Drink more water. Do this and you'll have the basic level of security that you need, rather than it being a complete mess.
Right.
That's what I would say. Basics in place.
Next question.
Oh, you mentioned being a family advisor. How do you bring heart into finance without losing sight of the numbers?
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but again, just being me. I'm family oriented. I see a lot of families, couples that are in the exact same position as me. We've got young kids, we're, working class. A lot of my clients are NHS because, again, I'm NHS. I advertise that I do the free will service. I don't get paid for that either. So it's not really about money. I feel like the money side of things is kind of a bonus, but I know that I'm helping people and I'm educating people. And I think that's just it, really. It's not hard. It's not kind of something that I have to focus on. It's just what comes naturally to me. And then anything that I gain on top is kind of just a bonus.
Gary, do you want to ask some questions? Or are you watching football on your phone?
Financial literacy often feels intimidating. If you could rename income protection to something less daunting, what would it be?
I would rename it something like long-term sickness pay or long-term.
It needs to be sexy. It needs to be sexy. Sexy it up. Sexy it up.
Pretty it up.
It's meant to be less daunting. I don't know, you know, it is what it is. Income protection sounds fancy. It's literally just long-term sick pay. Once your employer benefits of the sick pay runs out, you're going to need something else if you can't go back to work. Here comes income protection.
Do you know,
Right.
I took out income protection one time because, you know, you've worked in NHS, so, you know, every 5 years we're in this whole cycle. Every 5 years you're going to be made redundant for something, or there's some restructure and they take you back. So one time I thought I was slick and I thought, you know what? I knew it was coming. I went to some meeting and they were talking about, so I took out income protection to keep me up my thing. So I had it for about 10 years after the thing, and I paid like 60 quid a month. I was like, what am I paying this money out for? Like, literally.
Because income protection doesn't cover redundancy. It's for sickness and injury.
Oh, yeah, but my one was redundant. If you got made redundant, it'll cover that as well.
Who was that with?
LV, I think it was. LV. It was sickness, redundancy. If I was made redundant and I was out of work for more than 6 months.
Ages ago. You take it out ages ago. Oh, yeah. So it's an old thing. It's not redone anymore. ASU, accident, sickness, and unemployment.
Yeah.
That's
so
what done it.
I had it for about
everybody's being made unemployed, so they're not going to do it. No,
I worked out that I must have paid about probably about 35-40 grand to these people. Who tried it for years, and I was like,
I never got nothing back.
I was like, what the hell am I paying this thing? I just started to cut this thing off. Well, my friend goes, I put that in the bank.
Well, then, did you meet the definition of the terms?
Like
we were saying earlier, did you meet the definition of the terms?
Yeah. I mean, but I read the definition. I read it on talk. I understood exactly what I was taking out thing, but because I thought I was going to be made redundant,
but you wasn't.
What I wasn't.
Oh, you wasn't made redundant.
No.
So what's he cussing about?
You can't blame them.
I told you myself.
I didn't just cost the insurance. That is so funny, you know.
I paid this thing for years. I'm not
going to pay you if you didn't get made redundant if you're not sick.
Yeah, just pay. This is what happens with the NHS or working with. There's always a restructure, but no one loses their job.
That's like housing.
But no one loses their job. So I thought, I may get made redundant. I was proper panicking about it. I took out the income protection because I thought, Then people said to me, I think it worked out. I took out the top one because I thought, it was about £30 less than I was going to get paid a month. So it was a good thing. I thought, And they said they pay it up to like 5 years. After like a year or 8 months after you've made redundant, you get it for 5 years. And I thought, I'm going to be living life. I'm not going to work. I'm going to chill at home.
So was you planning to get made redundant and chill for a year until you could start back?
5 years.
5 years. I was like, this is going to be good. And then
it kicks in.
Redundancy never came. I was still employed. I was still paying the money, not thinking of it. I think this
hilarious.
Is one thing I think, like you were saying, you need to review these things every year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it's a bit like your phone bill and all things. Like I'm paying for things that I don't need to be paying for. I used to have a storage unit. I had that for like 15 years. Like, what the hell was I for this thing?
That's a bag of money.
And I think a lot of people get into this kind of thing. Where I work in Tower Hamlets, I park. So I bought a permit for this space. So this space is there for me to park in. I've had the thing since about 2013. And I moved building, but I still got the space. I've parked in a space maybe 20 times in the last 8 years.
Yeah,
but it's
you're
there.
better off just paying parking.
I pay by. It's only £1 a day.
Throw your money away. Throw some money to do the choice.
Just
throw some money this way if you got money for that way.
Yeah, just pay us.
But no, but it's the thing. It's like I said. I think it's the thing where you just, because it's there and you start paying it, you just get sucked into the bills, and once it's just sucked in, it's just an outgoing. And that's why I said, I've cancelled it. I cancelled it. No, well, that's a lie. I didn't cancel. Actually, I want to be honest. I never cancelled it. They wrote to me to say they were going to cancel it because they're reviewing the whole parking thing. And I was like, I don't need to review it. I know, yeah.
Take it in.
Oh, God.
But this is why we need to look at, as Sabina said earlier, we need to look at things daily, monthly, annually, just to see where we're at, because times are serious. Times are dangerous. We don't have money to throw away.
Sorry to cut you, Trisha. I do want to say, and I hope I don't offend anyone, but this is a common theme amongst men.
Yeah, cool.
Right.
Women tend to be more on the ball. Men, you ask my other half how much you spent at Sainsbury's yesterday. No idea. Not even yesterday, an hour ago. Yeah. And I'm just like, how much did that cost? I don't know. And it's just a thing. Men kind of just, they pay for something and it goes out their heads and it doesn't kind of, whereas women, we have to think, I'm a bit tight this month. Let's see why. Yeah. And then we go over and we review things, and I don't need to be paying for that. Oh, I don't need that anymore. I cancelled that. And it's just something that men don't tend to do very often. So,
It's I can't.
What'd you say, Char?
I'm off my Sky because I'm like, what do I watch on Sky that I need to have? And you're charging so much.
Every renewal, boy.
I got Sky. My Sky's not even
time
working.
They get me.
My Sky's not working. My Sky ain't worked for about a year and a half, if not longer. And I'm still paying for the thing. The box doesn't work.
Oh, bye, Gary.
We are here. If you've got money to throw away, we will.
Yeah.
I haven't though.
Yeah, me, I'm gonna put the bank details in the group chat, yo. Just throw the money over here, sure. So we've touched on this. You offered, and you might need to offer more than will service to Gary here. Bloody hell. You offer wills to the NHS employees. How have people responded? Do you think it's changing the culture around planning for the future?
Yes, I have noticed that a lot of the NHS staff that I'm getting in are a lot younger than my NHS clients. And I think that that's because the age of the workforce and kind of promoting it, you're starting out, you don't want to spend lots of money, but you do want to secure your future. And I think kind of it's all going hand in hand. And so I think it's having a positive impact and spreading awareness. And like even last week I did a webinar with one of the NHS trusts just talking about wills and estate planning, and it was just nice to kind of have that platform, because I suppose when you're at work at the hospital all systems go, but to know what's available to you as an employee benefit, it's quite important. And I think it's having a positive effect, and it's kind of bringing people in, and then word of mouth, they're telling other people, and it's slowly becoming a bit more known. Although I am still trying to get into more of the London side, because I find, again, a lot of the London hospitals, a lot of ethnic minorities, a lot of Black people, and we tend to not talk about these kind of things. Whereas a lot of my NHS clients are from the north of England.
Okay.
So, and I think demographics has something to play there a little bit.
Yeah, my brain's already ticking because we've got like Black Excellence events. You can do stands there. Gary's part of the NHS. You guys can have a chat and see how you can talk to some of his colleagues down in London. There's different things we could talk about off screen. Me offering up Gary, and I haven't even asked him yet, but yeah. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Gary's cool. So anything to help, he will. So especially if they're getting that advice for free or they're getting a service for free from being in the NHS, it's worth their while. So.
If you look at from the trust I work for at Barts in the Royal London, they've got employee wellbeing service, so they put people up on the intranet, and it flashes up when you turn on it. So it says Phil will work in blah blah blah. It'll flash up. I mean,
if everybody reads it like you just did,
it's the biggest trust in England.
Yeah, no, I know.
Barts is the biggest trust in the world. Yeah,
trust in UK.
In the UK. But do people really read the intranet?
We do.
Well, yeah. What? Do you know how much goodies are on my work intranet? There's always some
discounts.
There's always some type of discount or some.
That's why you lot watch it.
There's always some type of discount, some type of this, that, and the other. Get free this, get free that. Eye test, this test, that test. I don't go in it because I'm just lazy. But the rest of the people, them people, the younger people in my office always. Hey, look, they do this thing work called Bart Hearts, where you send each other hearts, and if you get 5 hearts, you can get like a hoodie, this, that, and the other. Well, the man, everyone doing their thing, yeah.
And they get 10% off everywhere they go to eat as well.
What are you chatting about? It's 25% off at Wingstop.
Yeah, not down here. Where I am in Southend, they give you 40% Wingstop.
Wow.
NHS staff.
Wow.
25%.
Yep. So yeah.
All right. So here's another thing what I imagine is going to be a barrier to the types of service. Costs.
Agreed.
What's the type of costs to get your affairs in order?
Do you mean with me or do you mean the average?
Because with you.
More reasonable. Okay.
Let's do both. Let's do average and let's do with you.
So let's start with the average. Again, a lot of the clients that I see who are more the middle-aged clients, they usually either have a will or they've already sought out. They've kind of inquired elsewhere with solicitors and other will writers and things. And the numbers that come out of their mouths, honestly, give me heart palpitations. So we're talking about they want to write a basic will and they're being charged nearly £1,000. A basic will with me is £150 if you're not NHS.
Really?
Yeah. And then if you're writing a mirror will, so if you've got, you and your husband or you and your partner or whatever it is, it's $250. And it's a lot cheaper. And then when I've seen some of the work, I'm not going to say any names.
Yeah, no, definitely.
The work by these solicitors that are charging you thousands and thousands of pounds. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not got a date on it. That's not signed. That's a loophole. That's ambiguous. Yeah. It's shocking.
Yeah.
It's shocking. So I know you get what you pay for. Not always. Especially not in this region. I mean, most of the most complex wills I've done have been free NHS wills.
Right.
And they're getting it for free.
Right. Yeah. NHS people who are watching, you lot need to bring a friend, get your service, and then refer somebody. Refer your people.
Yeah.
But that's reasonable because I know we recently done it and it did cost in the region of nearly £1,000. And then he made a mistake, and it was like, I made a mistake, and I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? I will not be. You better figure it out. And then he was like, you've got to get your will done, and I'm like, yeah. But it's not going to be with you. So I've got to come to you to do my will because there's a whole kind of, there's all kinds of things that are going on at the moment. So I'll sit down and talk to you off screen about it, but it needs to be very clear. And I've got a whole business. I've got businesses and different assets that I definitely need to. Yeah, because I'm one of the whatless ones that don't have one. You just kind of feel like it's me and that. We don't have one. Terrible.
And I just want to say though, that's like a basic will. If you need trust and things, so you've got like discretionary trust, business trust, interest in possession trust. They all have different prices. Again, not break the bank prices, but obviously it's not kind of everything. Yeah, exactly. Add-ons.
Yeah.
Like a service, and then the more you need, the more it is.
It's a more thing. Yeah.
And also lasting powers of attorney, a very important topic that I would like to speak about if you have me on again. Very, very important. I do these as well. they are probably one of the more expensive products that I provide, but probably one of the most important products that I provide, and I'll go into it next time.
Definitely, I've got it for my mum in health and finance. So and you need it, especially now. Tell me, I've got 2 NHS people on the screen, and this is something that's been bothering me. Completely off topic, but we'll go back to it. Power of attorney at the moment, I kind of want it because I've been hearing a lot of, since COVID, the NHS basically saying that if people go into, they're not reviving, they're not resuscitating. Is that a myth, or because that was part of the reason? Because I feel like that's against human rights, and that's part of the reason why I wanted the power of attorney, so that I could make decisions and then not just be taken away from me. Does that make sense?
It's not true from anything that I've experienced. There's always going to be a group of people that have a DNAR, so a do not resuscitate or do not attempt resuscitation. But that's kind of, it's going to be based on the quality of life for that person. So, for example, if you've got an 80-year-old skinny mini granny who's just skin and bones, and she's got metastatic cancer, and she's only got 3 months to live anyway, she then goes into cardiac arrest. Do you really want to break all her ribs while trying to give her CPR? It's in the best for her to just let her go. She's already suffering. Reviving her is going to only reduce her quality of life anyway, because she's now going to have her cancer and broken ribs. But if there's a reasonable chance of a good quality of life when they're revived, and you're not going to kind of cause any detrimental harm where it's going to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, decrease the standard of living, then that has to be agreed, and it has to be signed as well by either the patient or the power of attorney. So they can't just say, I'm reviving you.
Okay. I've heard 2 people have told me that that's been their experience with their parents, and I was like, what? Can they do that? And apparently it's not. But yeah, there's always more to the story, I guess.
To be honest with you, I've never heard there are some cases which usually hit the news where people want their parents or some of their child to stay alive, but the NHS is saying that we're not going to treat him anymore, and that type of thing. That happens quite a few times, and it's like usually children, young children. But working in the NHS, all I would say, I know sometimes we get a bad rep, but for us, all we want to do is make people better or prevent people from getting ill. Yep. We're not there trying to take people away or kill people. It doesn't make no sense. I know some people suffer when it's emotional, and that's why I always say to people, you need to have a conversation with your family before they go, not when they're in hospital, before they go to hospital, about what they want. Don't do it when they're in the deathbed, laying there in pain and looking at a thing and everyone's feeling sorry. Have a conversation before about what you want and what they don't want. Don't do it afterwards. It's just that it just causes issues. And if you have to, you can be a power of attorney. You can get things signed over to you so you can support them. But I mean, even if you are not a power of attorney, if you're the person's next of kin, we listen. They listen. Like, we're not just going to do something, rush it over you. We may say to you, that's not going to help, and we'll give you a reason why, but we're not just going to rush up over you and be like, oh, your mum don't matter. We'll turn off the machine. That's not how things work.
Okay.
Right.
In my opinion.
Oh. Well, I have to go, guys. I'm so sorry. I need to go and dish
No worries. No worries. Come back if you can.
Yeah, I will. I was going to say that.
Right.
If I can, I'll check you're on when I'm done. But thanks,
no worries.
Sabina.
No problem. You're welcome.
All right then, guys.
Bye. All right. So, what do you hope your clients feel after their first meeting with you?
I hope that they feel relaxed and like they've just had a chat with a friend rather than like a stuffy professional person. Not that I'm not professional, but kind of being down to earth, speaking like we are now, whilst also giving advice, is a better way for someone to kind of take on that advice and make decisions, kind of educated decisions, and in their own time. So yeah, I would like them to feel relaxed and confident and at ease, and also empowered, that they've got the education now and they know what they want to put in place, what they need to do, and also that they can always come back to me. So I want to always kind of make them feel welcomed and always able to return to me for any questions or queries.
Sure. Okay. The time has flown. It's 9:15, so we better speed up a little bit. It's been interesting, that's why. And we definitely will have you back on again. I'm going to jump this question because I think you more or less answered it. What would you say is the biggest financial blind spot for people in their 20s versus those in their 50s or 60s?
It's definitely time. People in their 20s feel like they're going to live forever. And obviously,
and not necessarily.
And not necessarily at all. And people in their 20s feel like I think it's time and also health. They think that they're young, fit, and invincible. They're never going to get sick, or they're never going to have a situation where they're too sick that they can't work, or too sick that they're going to die. And obviously, people in their 50s and 60s have seen, if they've not gone through something themselves, there's people around them that they've seen and experienced, that they have a lot more worldly experience to know that certain things should be in order and how things should go. So I think time and health definitely a blind spot for the 20s.
Okay. What would you say is the biggest I put that twice. How can we get younger people to engage?
That's difficult. Probably using platforms and methods that appeal to them. I am guilty of this. I know I look young, but I'm not as young as I look. And I am literally Facebook, maybe LinkedIn. That's it. I don't use my Instagram. The only time you see me post is because it's linked to my Facebook. I don't do TikTok.
Right.
And I feel like these places, especially TikTok and like Snapchat and stuff, I never used it. I think that would probably be a platform that you're going to get the most people, most visibility, but also engagement. And then I think maybe the way that things are framed, so less about kind of preparing for death and disaster and more about control over circumstances in your life. And I think that's probably where it's going to be, because when they hear death, sickness, illness, they're not going to think it applies to them, because like I said, with the whole time and health blindness, they're just going to think it doesn't apply to them. And I think maybe reframing it and rephrasing it to kind of talking about having control and independence over your finances and also kind of your future and what happens with your loved ones. I think that's probably the way to go about it.
All right. Someone asked the next question. Do you know what? I've left my back door open because I'm hot, but I can hear something rustling, and whatever it is, I don't want it to come in here. So let me just go and shut my mouth. I'm not here for it. Let me just tell it. Someone asked the next question. I'll be back in a minute.
Do you notice a generational shift in how people talk about money? Are younger clients more open or still as hesitant as older generations?
So yes, definitely a generational shift. And yes, the clients are definitely more open. So like I mentioned before, our older generations in the Black community tend to kind of just hope things or think things will work out themselves. And I feel like the younger generation, especially in the Black community, so the couple of clients that I have done who are Black are young families, and they've kind of been trying to educate themselves. They've bought themselves a house, they've got kids, and they're like, okay, now what? Now how do we protect it? And rather than kind of leaving it up to chance, and also not to offend, but I think, this is speaking from like my own experience, I think the older generation as well tend to have that little bit of entitlement where they think that if something happens to them, their kids will run and just fix it, or they'll put it out. And I feel like with the younger generation, they haven't got that entitled kind of mindset, and they know that they need to put things in place because no one else is going to come and fix it for them, and they can't rely on everyone else. Whether that's kind of to do with the societal breakdown, whereas before it used to be kind of family, and people more nowadays are more kind of, I suppose, more isolated. But either way, whatever the reason is, definitely the shift is that the younger generation are more open to speaking about these topics than the older generation.
Do you think with the rise of things like cryptocurrency, like younger people are more willing to take more risk with their money than older people are more risk averse?
I don't know, I think yes and no. I think, like you mentioned crypto, I think those people are probably more aware of risks because of the kind of the volatile status of things like that. Whereas the older generation, they just put all their money usually into a house. That's it.
That's what I mean. But I'm saying, do you think
that's what you said? Yeah.
So your older generation would be like, you know what? I'll put it in what I can see. Where younger people will say, you know what? We'll buy some crypto. And
I could be a millionaire tomorrow, boy.
A billionaire tomorrow.
In that case, yeah. And also, just invested in different kind of formats, different assets, different platforms, rather than just the standard, I'm going to buy a house. And that's where all the money.
And with all of that said, they still don't think that it's worth protecting assets that they ever, because young people are clever and they do make money and they are starting businesses from their bedroom. So these are the kind of things that they actually need to protect. No shade, because I'm sitting on the screen without a will, but I've got life insurance. But I don't have a will. But there's definitely a niche there for them, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. But I think that's where that time and healthy bias comes in, because they don't think that they need it yet. It's probably on the to-do list when they think, when I'm 30, when I'm 40, I'll do it. But when they're in their 20s, they're not thinking about that because they don't think it's going to be happening to them.
Anytime.
I remember watching I can't remember, it was something, and the man said if people started saving £100 a month when they were 16 versus £100 a month when they're 30, whatever, makes a big, like, you'll be like a 1.2 million whatever by the time you get to this age.
Really?
And he said just a little bit of difference about when you start saving. If you save from like the way money accumulates and compound, and it goes to save it so long, it goes so much different. And I think sometimes, I mean, look, there's people, and I agree with guys, like men don't really. It's just more about looking after girls, paying for all, taking them to dinner and all type of things, while the girls are stashing their money away, and then when they're old, they've got money to stay, and we're poor because we spent all our money on looking after fixing your hair and doing your eyelashes. You know what I mean?
Shut up, Gary. Gary fixing everybody's eyelashes. I don't think so. Don't think so. But I think it again comes down to privilege and community, because I know at 16 I was still kind of just getting out of school. I didn't have £100 to save a month. Do you understand what I mean? So it is about different opportunities and privileges and education and so on and so forth. But if you're growing up in a single-parent household, going to £100 where to go and save it must be mad. It's not good. Do you know what I mean? But again, it's so basic and it's needed.
But it's priorities, isn't it? I think it's about kind of future planning. It's priorities, because you at the time, the money I'm spending on my non-working Sky, if I kept that. It's kind of, it's your priority.
Of course, I agree with that. But I'm just saying, if it's a crucial age between some communities might not necessarily get to, but it's true. Once you start hitting working age, like 19, 20 or whatever the case may be, once you start to hit working age where you could go out and get your own money, then if you did save from that time and was diligent, it would be interesting to see where it would be now. But savings there, then they're not, then they're there, then they're not. That's how it is. You know what I mean?
I said, I think when I was doing the youth work, one time we had a big discussion about money. We were talking about money in the group and stuff. And everyone was talking about how much money he can make on road. And one of the young people said something, I always stuck with me. You know, when someone says something so true, but you don't realize how true at the time. He said, you know what, brother? Making money is not a problem. It's keeping it is the issue.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone can make money. Once you pay your bills, you have to pay for this, your car, making the money is not the issue.
It's keeping
it in your pocket. That's
sometimes me and Shasha will go out on the road and we'd be like, yeah, we made some money. I thought we made the bill lash out, and it's like, do you know what I mean? And I think all of that contributes to the mindset, because we often think that if you don't have tangible, copious amounts of money in the bank, then you don't need a will. But there's so much more to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's good to talk. So kind of same sort of question, but in a different spin. So it says financial planning can be taboo in some cultures. Have you come across communities where protection planning is misunderstood, underutilized, which we know because you've answered that, or even mistrusted? Yeah, because the mistrust for me, what I've observed is some of the older people, like there might be one bad experience where mum trusts kid does mum wrong, that story spreads around the community, and then suddenly, well, I'm not taking off my trousers until I'm ready to sleep. That's what I hear. So meaning I am not gonna give away any of my assets or any of my control when I die, because Suzette's child 10 million years ago, she took the house, she put her mother out, she did this, and the mum had to go and catch up on someone's couch. That happened 20 years ago, but it's still very, very relevant today. And it does happen. So I do think, in terms of avoiding inheritance tax, it's like almost we would prefer to pay the 40% tax. So there's a big distrust within our own families and households, let alone with institutions.
Agree.
Big question, but how do we combat that?
Well, I actually read your question different. I wasn't thinking about the mistrust amongst people, and more the mistrust between people and the financial world.
Yeah, and you read it right, but there is that the mistrust within our own households, let alone establishments outside. So then you've got stories like Gary's. First, Gary said, I paid 35 grand to this thing and they never paid me out. But actually, you wasn't made redundant. So
no. I didn't say they didn't pay me out. I said I didn't. When I didn't pay me out, what I meant by that is I didn't need it, so I didn't need the payout. So I didn't pay me out. Maybe that's why I said I didn't need it because I didn't. So
that's why we was laughing, because we was like, if you didn't get made redundant, why would they pay you out? Yeah.
No, I know I wasn't entitled because I wasn't made redundant, but I was thinking to myself, I spent all this money, then if I, for the 10, 11 years, how many years I had it, I should just put it in something away and I would have been blessed. But
you could have.
Yeah, but I gambled on thinking, I'm going to smarten the system.
They're going to make me redundant and I'm going to cock up my foot for 5 years.
I'm going to take it, I'll get my money, and then I'll get this payout. Like, and 5 years I'll just sit and watch TV. And didn't work out. I still working.
Didn't work out that way. So answer the question in your way, how you understand it, but factor in the mistrust in the home. How would we combat both? Because there is a big issue with elders not talking to kids, like you said, not knowing where the will is, not knowing where to store it, things going missing if we don't like the will. How do we combat those types of...
So first things first is the storage of the will. I think what you just said last was probably the most important thing. So you could always write down your intentions if you're worried about the people around you accessing it and doing dirty with what you've written, then you need to use a secure storage facility. We actually do offer that. So after you write your will and sign everything, you can post it back and it gets stored in the facility, which is waterproof, fireproof, whatever, everything proof. And then we email out the executive so they know where it is, but they can't get it until you've passed away. And if you pass away, to pass security, they need to, like, security questions. They need to provide the death certificate so that we can see it's legit. And I think external environment, but which is still secure, probably the best way to go, number one. Number two, I can't answer it because everyone's family dynamic is different. I can't make you trust your niece and nephew when I completely trust my niece and nephew. I think it's a different strokes for different folks. And I think probably the main kind of hurdle to overcome is being open and honest and talking about these things, and not at the last minute, not when someone's sick, because when someone's sick, they're thinking, oh, you just want me for my money. You just want to know me because of that. Talk about it when they're healthy. Make sure that they're thinking about it. It's in their mind so that when the time does come, they don't just think that it's money, money, money. And it's actually kind of to put things in place, because you're going to die regardless. But do you want to die and leave a mess, or do you want to die and let the people that you want to have their things have the things that you want?
That you want them to have.
Yeah.
So you offer a secure kind of storage unit for those kind of things as well, which I think is the way to go, because I've heard too many shady things happening with trusts and people's wishes not with wills and people's wishes not being upheld and stuff like that. You know, the will just went missing, or it's suddenly something else pops up with a different signature on it, and it's like
altered. And
how do you so that's the best way. We've just discussed that, to be fair. Are there any cultural or religious considerations that influence how certain communities perceive inheritance, life insurance, or trusts?
Definitely. So number one would be the Muslim community. So they have like their own way of dealing. Sorry, my cat. They just have their own way. They have their own way of dealing with things. So in the Quran, it's kind of already designated, and so they will stay away from any kind of outside influence. But I think the danger with that is in England, it's not going to be the same dynamic as a country that is majority Muslim and it has Muslim laws. We're under English, British laws, and trying to kind of drive that home that it's actually essential, because legally in England, things aren't going to pan out the way that you think they're going to pan out, because we don't live in Algeria or wherever it is. That's definitely a barrier. And I think, again, for kind of to kind of parrot myself from earlier, but it will be the older generations of the Black community, whether it be Caribbean or African. Actually, saying that, my friend D, who his dad passed away and I had the whole thing and he didn't get anything. He tried to get his mum, so his actual biological mother, to write one now, because they have land back there. And she will not do it. Will not do it.
Why do you feel? Why? What do you think the block is?
Do you
think it's that they just don't want to face the fact that they are? Do you think the topic of death, my death, is just too hard for people?
I don't know. I mean, for some people, yes. I would say in this particular instance, it's more about culture. And in her mind, when she dies, it's going to be split between her 3 boys. But we know from experience that that's not necessarily what's going to happen. And it's kind of like the mindset of, I don't need it, it's fine, everything will work itself out. But forgetting that when they're dead and gone, they've not got to worry about it. It's going to be D and his brothers that have to go to the courts and this and that to try and get this approved.
Try and sort stuff out,
Yeah. And I think I have spoken to a couple of people where they literally say, I'm going to be dead, I don't care, let them sort it out. And I honestly think that's quite a
selfish,
exactly, a selfish way to look at it, especially when it's your loved ones. I wouldn't want my children having to go through hell and beyond to get what's due to them when I could have literally just taken an hour out of my day to put my wishes and my instructions down on a bit of paper, and then another 10 minutes planning it when I receive it. I can't comprehend that, but I think again everyone's different. So
yeah, I mean, I think we got the raw end of this. Like, I don't want to badmouth people's services on the platform. This is not what we do here. But I feel like my mum's going to need to update hers, even though she's spoken. And I think it's all those it's cost, because there's cost is a barrier. Not understanding it properly is a barrier, I think. Yeah. Even after what happened, she's still opposed. That's baffling.
I know. He didn't understand it. He was literally kind of arguing with her, like, Mom, come on, you saw what happened to Dad. And no. And then obviously she came here. It was early on this year. She was here January times, I think. And he was trying to get her to come and speak to me, because obviously this is what I do. I'm his friend. I can easily just, pop by, have a chat. She was like, no, I'm not interested, not having any of it. So I don't know. Oh. I genuinely don't know. He doesn't know. He was getting really frustrated. But what can you do? You can't force someone's hand. You can lead the camel to water, or is it horse to water? Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at my own phrases. Camel drink. So
yeah. Very strange, because I suppose culture in your own land is culture in your own land, but understanding the laws and what happens here is two different things. So we'll keep having the conversation. You said earlier if we'll have you back, you'll talk about trust. Yeah, we'll definitely have you back. We'll talk about a schedule at some point. Yeah. Representation matters. How important is it for communities of colour to see professionals like herself leading these kinds of conversations about money and legacy?
1 million, billion, trillion % important. Obviously, being Black yourselves, there is that kind of, sadly, but that kind of innate distrust when it comes to getting serious advice, especially with regards to finances, from people that don't look like us. And I feel, obviously, there's historical reasons for that. And I feel that we are definitely underrepresented. We are kind of coming up, but it's more so the mortgage side of things. So I attended, there's this Black mortgage and professionals networking thing. Really, really good, by the way. Really good. I'll send you the link to that.
Okay, yeah.
Really, really good. But there's a lot of Black people kind of investing in that side of things, mortgages and insurance to a degree, but it is mainly mortgages because there's a lot of money in there. And obviously people are trying to build wealth quickly. So that's where they're going. But with regards to estate planning and wills, no. I think, so one of my colleagues, Nicole, she knew someone else from London who is Black, and Nicole is white. And she said that she's the only Black will writer she's ever spoken to. And she's a will writer. Oh. So, and then apart from, until I came aboard and I was telling her that I want to really get the message out to the Black community. And she was like, yeah, she's only known one. She put us in contact with each other, which is really good. But there's really not many. And I think the kind of distrust that we were talking about, especially with the older generation, maybe if they were coming to people that look like me and you, they might be a bit more amenable. Oh, sorry. I completely forgot I ordered my shopping. I thought we'd be done by now.
Sorry.
Come and open the door. I'm so sorry.
All the girls so lazy, man. What is ordering shopping, man? Go Sainsbury's. Jeez.
Yo, I would do the exact same thing, but my mum's not having it. She needs to pick up the lettuce.
Yeah, pick up the thing and see. I need to see it.
Yeah, she needs to see it.
I'm just gonna because he's not replying and he doesn't really look at his phone all the time. I'm so sorry. Bear with me, guys. So
it's all right. No worries. No worries.
Go and open the door and come back. Drop that off.
Yeah, but we don't know how much shopping she's got.
I know them people there.
It's going to be a bag of shopping while she's standing there whilst he unloads it. Oh, hang on. Are you back with us? You're back now. Bless you. Only my child. Hang on. Only my child has got Sainsbury's or Tesco's coming. We need to eat. We're packing up that. It is a 2-hour show. I thought I should have told you that. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, sorry. It's okay.
I should have told you. Yeah, I've told you everything else apart from the fact that we're here till 10. Financial well-being. Do you think financial services have done enough to reach out to support diverse communities? You've kind of answered the question in terms of what's missing, but
I would say no.
Yeah.
I would say
so
no.
There's a whole market,
exactly.
of trying to make it a topic that's not so daunting to speak about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I would say mortgage-wise, yes, there has been a lot of advancement and progress.
It doesn't make sense attaining all of these assets if you're not going to protect them.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is where I'm trying to break in and even connect with kind of other people of color who are estate planners, will writers, but there just don't seem to be many of them, at least not here. Right. I suppose if you live somewhere in, I don't know, the Caribbean or somewhere in West Africa, then there would be. But for England, if you know any, let me know so we can connect, because there's just none.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't connect you to, but anyway. What advice would you give someone who wants to talk to their parents or grandparents about protection planning but isn't sure how to start the conversation? So, I mean, in terms of your friend Dee, we wasn't really successful there, but
no.
What was the kind of things that you were saying to her or to him to tell her?
Honestly, we were saying what anyone would say after going through what they experienced, which was, look what happened with Dad. We need to sort this out for when you pass, because we don't want it to happen again with us. But honestly, I don't know what happened there. I would say in general, though, I would always approach it speaking more from love, and that's where you're going to kind of get things resonating. I've been speaking to my own grandmother about it, and it's more about, you love these people, you want them to have what's owed to them. Why would you make it hard for them to access this when you could do something whilst you're still alive in your lifetime?
Right.
Ensure that your loved ones are going to get what you want them to get and when you want them to get it. Yeah. And I think probably the way
it's that simple.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
It literally is.
All right, so that's our last question for you, and we've got 20 minutes. We'll do one topic and then we'll let you go, because you've got to go do your shopping. But where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Like I said, I don't really use it that much, but I think I do get notifications. LinkedIn. And by phone, my number should be on the flyers. If not, I can send that to you. I've got a digital business card as well that I can supply you with.
Yeah, send that. We'll chuck it all in the group and put it in Black Excellence as well, so that people can find you. We definitely would want to have another conversation with you. It's been my pleasure, and you're articulate and you know your stuff. So the time has flown because you're articulate and you know your stuff. So we'll definitely be having you back. Yeah. It's flown. It's really interesting conversation. So thank you for your time. And before you go, it's our tradition that we always have to chop up a topic. We always have to.
Okay.
So our group, I don't know if your mum's told you much about it, but it can get a little bit oda. And
she has told me.
Yeah, it can. They really get to it. So what have we got? 20 minutes. Let's see if I can just speed through them, because there's two that I want to ask you about. Gary, I want to ask about one in particular to see what his feelings is around it. But this one, let's do this one first. So, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
So why is it? So why, when I shared the screen, it's jumped to something completely different? I don't understand why it's done that. F's sake. Am I even in no Bravado?
Oh.
It was just there, like literally. I was like, let's just do this one, and then as soon as I go into it, it's something completely different. Like, why not? Share screen. Let's have a look. Share screen. All right, we'll do this topic first if it's there when we go into it, and then I'll look for it whilst you lot are talking. So, this question was posted in the group. Why do women show cleavage? Why do Gary, do you ever think women show too much cleavage?
I don't understand why the tops have to be low cut, but I don't really pay much attention. It don't make a difference to me, but yeah.
Oh, so you think low cut tops are not necessarily the one as well?
I don't. She obviously did it for a reason. That's how the clothes are. I don't know if that's how the clothes are designed, or that's what you want to do. So when you're wearing V-neck t-shirts and your chest is big, like do it in it. It's just you. But is that? I just assume that's how clothes are designed for you.
Okay.
Because I never thought about it. I just think, okay.
I thought it was interesting because of the comments. But it put me to think about it because I was just I don't understand when girls.
I don't understand when girls have those tops, but they always want to lean over you like this. Like, go away. You know, and then when I ask questions, why you're looking at them, shut up. What do you mean? What are you looking for? Come back. You mean? Come on, my face.
With your big melons in my face. What do you think, Sabina? Like, because the reason I thought this was interesting is because it really put me to think. Some of it is because that's the way that the clothes are, and some of it is because I want to show my tits. If I'm honest,
basically,
yeah. Go out, you have a nice silhouette on. You want to show your tits. Is that bad? At what age should you put your tits away?
Personally, I think everyone should do what's right for them. If you're comfortable having your tits out and you're 70, that's your business. I don't care.
But they're not like, whenever I wear something low cut, it's not, because I am of the age where I'm like, you need to put your 50-year-old tits in a bra, or maybe some kind of.
Is it low cut and push up? So it's two things together. It's not low cut.
Yeah, sometimes, but it just depends what the outfit calls for. Do you know what I mean? But it's someone said in the comments, which we will go through, that women do it for attention, and I thought, no, it's not. It's because I like the way that certain things look. It's not that you're going out to look attention per se, but I like the way it looks. Sasha?
I think some women do go out to get attention, and then they wonder why. And then when the man looks at them a certain way, they're like, "What you looking at for?" I'm like, "Woman, you got your you shouldn't have worn any clothes because your whole of your breast is out the doors. Why do you think they can't not look? They're there." And you got some women who just wear things where they just feel sexy. It's not like they're not necessarily wanting attention. Like, I would wear something that is low cut. I'm not necessarily wanting attention. If I get it, cool. I'm fine with that.
But who do you want to look sexy for then, I guess? It really put me to...
How can you look sexy for yourself? I don't get... That's nothing I don't get. How you look sexy for yourself?
No, I'm feeling sexy. If I'm getting a compliment, how I dress is how I feel. If I'm feeling good about myself, it's gonna replicate how I look. If I'm not feeling great, then you're gonna not. I just don't care. But if I'm feeling
so good question, right? And maybe so. If you're looking sexy, do you want someone to tell you you're looking sexy?
If they want to, yes.
No. That's not a question I asked you.
No.
If you're looking sexy, you want someone to tell you you're looking sexy.
Not necessarily. Yes or no? I'm not out there for you to clarify how I feel.
I'm not asking you how you feel. I'm saying, do you want them to tell you?
How I'm looking is how I feel. So I'm not asking you to confirm how I'm looking. I know I feel sexy. I know I look good. So whether or not you say it or not is irregardless. I'm still gonna feel how I feel. It's a bonus, yes, but I'm not looking for you to confirm what
Gary's not convinced.
I'm
he
not.
done that Taurus year, whatever.
Before I did. Don't be twisted. Before I did do that, but now I'm just like, I feel good. Yeah, I'm gonna look good. If I get a compliment, then cool. If I don't, it don't bother me. Because you may not want to say nothing, and then some men don't want to say something because some women take it to a whole nother level. And I've seen it happen. It's like, you should have just not said nothing because it's just not needed. Like, oh, you look nice today. Oh, what you trying to chat me up? No, it's just a compliment. Take it for what it is. That's it.
Right.
You know.
I mean, obviously, I think I always think that if I put something on, say I'm taking you out, Charlene, and I'm taking you somewhere, yeah, and I put on my wickedest shoes, my wickedest top, and then because I'm putting it on to make you think I look nice, because otherwise, what am I doing it for? That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing it because I make off. Because I'm going to make you feel like, oh yeah, I want you to say, yeah, oh you look nice. Then what's the point if you're not doing
there's nothing wrong with that. You compliment.
That's what I want. So that's what I say. So when the girls have got their chest out, you want man to come out and go, yeah, you look nice.
Gary, no, do it.
But according to the men in the group, they don't like it.
They're lying. They're lying. 100% they're lying.
All right, let's go through some of the comments quick. I might not get to do the other comments.
But they don't like it. They don't like it when their woman's around.
But you know what, Trish? When we was on holiday and we would me and mum was sitting down, so I was saying to her, there's certain women who wear certain things. I mean, maybe because I'm getting older now, but there's certain women who would wear certain things. And the outfit would look nice, but they're not wearing the outfit. The outfit's wearing them. They don't wear it with class, and that's my ick. Like, if you're gonna put on a good dress, put on the right underwear, put on the right shoes, walk with confidence, walk like a lady. Don't walk like you're a man, because you just fucked up the whole outfit. Like, just don't do it.
It's the sheen, man. It's the sheen. It's the sheen effect.
Listen,
and Timu.
Don't even bother, right? Because we're not gonna have dress on holiday, and two other ladies wore it on a different day, and can't compare.
Like who wore it best?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna do two topics because we're not gonna have enough time. But let me just run through some of these quickly. You said it was a good question. Depends. It's not all the time you want to be covered up. Also, for me, it depends on how you're presenting yourself. Kevin said it's magic voodoo. I'll bust it up. Yeah, it's magic voodoo. Kevin said, tell them. Oh, this is George and his flipping writing that I can never understand. Tell them, Ross. George Williams, they're laughing. It's magic. Very good question, because beauty deserves to be seen.
Say they're not beautiful. Say they're not beautiful.
Well, then that's
they're beautiful. They're beautiful with help.
You're so stupid. I can't. George said, the pure is form of witchcraft, and we can't turn it calf. They're saying it's witchcraft. I was dying because they're part of my body. The sole purpose of them is to feed babies. You will notice them whether you're covered or not. George said something that we can read. Amen. Ian said, giving men a sneak preview of the goodies. Jennifer said, because we can. Jamal said, same reason they put on wig, big eyelashes, tons of makeup, have lip filler, boob enhancement, butt tucks, BBLs, and everything under the sun to get noticed. And I was like, oh. But you lot say you don't like the big weaves but those are the girls you talk to, so I'm confused. But anyway, Dean said facts. I said yeah, I said fair enough. But men say they hate all these things. Do you think they're trying? Who do you think we're trying to get noticed for? Not coming with any smoke because I'm not here for it. But I'm just really interested because if they're saying that's how we dress to get noticed, but they don't like it, well then who are we dressing for? But as Sabina said, they're lying. Yes, right. So hang on. What did they say here? Some women, yeah, but some of you men seem to like the look and fall for it every time. Until the next morning. Says Dean husbands. They're brutal in this group, I can't. Yeah, men out here with bigger boobies than most go fully topless in public, and it's acceptable. Make it make sense.
Right.
I'm dead.
I agree.
Right.
They're too funny in this group, I tell you. Dean said to attract men, and they know it. But Dean and Sandy both went back and forth a little bit. Sometimes the outfit calls for it, and that is it.
Right.
Sometimes the outfit just calls for a little cleavage. It's not what everyone thinks it is. So DeWitt Ford says, I honestly think men should stop having a strategy, having to strategically rather tuck our bulges down our legs every day if we don't wear thick pants. If women can proudly hint that the body God gives them, why we have to wear these tight half briefs all day? I miss wearing boxers, laughing out loud. My girlfriend will kill me, but you'll get the point. But just wear your boxers. No one ever tell you nothing wear them.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, no one never tell you nothing wear them. To wear your boxers.
His missus told him not to wear them.
Yeah.
So only if you want to have kids, isn't it, that you're not supposed to leave them hanging like that. But yeah. Why do men show ass crack with belts on? Says Brina.
Because girls like it.
We don't. I don't know who told you that, but we don't.
No.
Claude said she's just here for the comments because sometimes clothes can't hold the breast stem, says Sandy. And it's okay to get your tits out for the boys from time to time. Look, please, but don't touch unless you get an invitation. Replies there. But, yeah, that was the we could have gone through into the replies, but we ain't got time for that. 55. It is 55 minutes to 10, so we have 5 minutes. So we want to go back to Sabina and say thank you for being a good sport. After talking about such a serious topic, we needed to have a laugh, and yeah, tits was it. So thank you for going through our tradition with us,
No
and
problem.
for coming on the show, and for being as articulate and informative as you are. And off screen, we'll talk about, like, because me and Gary was talking about this the other day. So Gary was saying we can have health days, or we can have financial literacy days, and different days where we mix in topics that are going to benefit our community. I also think that you should, definitely talk to Gary off screen. I'll make that happen because you're both NHS, and then you can build contacts from there because they're going to bring a family member, and they're going to bring a family member, and
I'll be contacted.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need to contact you. You got
You've got no excuse now as well. You've got my details.
I need to go and join the NHS so I could get it for free. Not really. I'm joking, but no, I definitely will be in touch because there's lots to plan and there's lots to think about, and I think it is a difficult topic. You do think you've got time, you do, but you know, I had 3 older brothers that didn't even make it to 50. None of them did. So it's not just for older people. I do think in order to preserve our legacies within our communities, we've got to get to these older people. We've got to start looking at what the inheritance tax is and what trusts are and how that can combat all of what you've worked for just going down the drain because you didn't put something in place or you didn't understand. So we'll keep having the conversation. Now we know that you can talk and hang. We definitely will have you back. It's been amazing. It's been my pleasure. Anything you want to say, Gary?
Just to say before you go, I was going to ask you, has any of you not seen that new Tyler Perry movie, Straw, that everyone keeps talking about? I ain't watched it.
Is it good?
Everyone said it's amazing. They keep crying. But I watched Tyler Perry.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to watch it. I don't feel like crying.
He's doing the black pain thing again. It's the thing. But everyone said it's meant to be bawling. People said they're bawling through the whole movie. But I said, I don't know if you don't watch it.
Yeah, I don't feel like bawling. It's summertime, man.
Go on, Vibes Cartel.
Yeah, man. If you come around, that's the time now. Watching, you know what I mean? I don't know, but I probably will watch it. But yeah,
because everyone says it's good. Chronics is going to be at All Points East.
No,
Chronic, Cleo Soul, and Salt.
What day are they coming?
Friday the 15th, I think it is.
We now work on Friday, Shirley. We now work on Fridays. We now work on Fridays. We are gossip chronics. How you mean? How you mean? I'd love to see them live. I'm coming. We'll talk to you about that off screen. But yeah, because Sabina's just sitting there looking at us like, can I go and unpack the shopping?
let the husband unpack the food.
Well, he's too scared to come in. I told him to come and get something to eat, but he doesn't want to come in the back. I said he can, sneak by, but yeah.
Well, good feed your husband, man. Your mama says, great show, guys, and well done, baby. It was a great show, and we're definitely looking forward to seeing you back. Thanks for the hookup, Davina. Thank you for passing your bright, intelligent baby our way so that we can have this conversation, and we will be having more of them. Talk to your mum to come on. She's always got a lot to say from the sidelines, but she don't come on the screen. So maybe you guys can come back on together.
No.
She's like, no. I'm not going to go against my mum to come on.
Between you guys, she gets heated. I'm just do my little.
That's what we want. She does get heated in the comments. We love it. We do love it. We take the smoke when she gives it to us, but we take it. But I think she'd be a brilliant conversationist on the show. So I want to keep Davina, you're hearing me. Come on with your baby done it. She was, you know what I mean? She was brilliant.
He's waiting for somebody to invite him in. Hey,
why can I don't do it? Is that you, Gary?
Okay. What's that?
We all saw the movie.
I can hear someone talking.
Yeah, it's not me.
Who is that? Wow.
Someone playing something with Kevin Hart on it.
Kevin Hart.
I can just hear it loud in the eardrums. Anyway, we're going to finish right on time. Davina says she's too shy. You're not shy. Yes, you.
Too shy, hush.
Right, I'm gonna go, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Cool.
Go and feed the people in my house, and I'll feed you guys off camera.
Nice meeting you.
Definitely, for sure.
Right.
Thank you, darling. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so Spotlight listeners, thank you.
Gone. No. You can't say bye. It's Gary with that.
It's his trigger word. Why is his trigger word? Oh my God. It's his trigger word. He just disappears. From me saying bye, he's like Merlin the magician. Wild. Oh my God. Listen, Spotlight.
I was shocked. I was just like,
it wasn't for him to go.
Right. But
the word bye is his trigger word. From you say bye, that's it.
Don't say bye.
Man, just do. Like, he does it on the phone. If you speak to him on the phone, I'm crying.
I know.
Can I not come on the show and not cry? If you speak to him on the phone and you say bye, forget it. That boop, boop, boop. That's all
done.
you hear in your ears. The conversation is done. It's hilarious.
Oh God,
It's hilarious. I love Gary for that though. Too funny. But Spotlight, thank you for joining us. And we will be back next Tuesday at 8. We are working on some things which we'll do some announcements, but we've run over. It's 2:22. This is the earliest we've finished. So let's end on a good note. And thanks, Sabina, once again for coming on. We will be posting her flyer in the group so that you guys can make contact and get your affairs in order. It's time. We've been scammed by the system for way too long. We have to start playing their game, especially when it comes to our assets. They've got you working out here on the plantation. They've got us for taxes. They've got us for property taxes. They've got us for everything. And then when you die, it's important to know where your things are going and how it's going to work out because we paid our dues.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was a brilliant conversation and I'm looking forward to the next. But yeah, we'll see you next week. We are doing this weekly. Like, we are actually doing it. See how long it goes on for, but we're doing it. So we'll see you next week at 8. Look forward to it. Keep up the good work. Keep posting your topics. Keep commenting. We love you. Without you, there's no show. And to all the YouTube watchers, thank you for joining us. Jax H, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Good night, guys.
Now, we can say good night and end.
Yes.
Bloody
Just don't
hell.
say bye.
Right, we've got to find another word. Oh my God, Gary will just leave the building.
Magic, that okay.
Now you see, now you're raw stone, but it's just done. But yeah, gotta love him. But yeah, speak to you offline, and you guys have a blessed week. And yeah, take care.
Catch you later, lovey.
Take care, babes.
Bye.
Bye.